It has been 1 full month since I started working on my zombie survival indie game. They come in waves. You can find a link to the Steam page in the description, but over the past month the game has evolved into a collect and craft survival game with loads of crazy weapons and a couple interesting areas to explore. Let's hop right into the state of the game and the plans for its future. The way crafting currently works in the game is that you need to find these plans around the map, starting with the plans for a workbench. Once you have the plans for an item, you'll be able to see the parts required to build that item in the top left corner of the screen. In the case of the workbench, you'll need a saw, a screwdriver, a drill, and a hammer. Then you'll need to go over to this pile of junk and you'll be able to craft a workbench that you can then use to craft the rest of the weapons once you find their plans. Speaking of weapons, so far I've managed to add 10 weapons. The basic stuff: a pistol, an SMG, an assault rifle, shotgun, and heavy rifle, which, much like most of America, you can just go buy off the walls in various locations around the map. Right now though, I hate my SMG and shotgun animations, so those will need a good amount of work in time. Then the craftable weapons: a flamethrower that shoots flames, a saw launcher that shoots saws, a speaker bomb that attracts the zombies before exploding, a revolver with exploding bullets, a rocket launcher, and most recently the Axe of Destiny, which is, well, an axe of destiny. It deals a bunch of damage and you can throw it at things and go collect it again after. It's a bit OP at the start, but once the fast zombies start to come in at you, it gets a bit more challenging to use. Right now, the plans and items are scattered randomly at a set of spawn points that I've defined around the map. I would like to make the plans you find more topical, so to speak. So for example, I want to make a construction site where you will find the plans to build the saw launcher, or a firefighting station where you find the plans to build a flamethrower. This leads me to what I've spent most of my time on this week, which is expanding the map and adding interesting locations to explore. I added this farmhouse area just outside of the central town, which I thought would be a nice change of scenery, and I think it fits nicely into the narrative of the world I'm creating. This stubborn farmhouse couple refuses to give up their land even though the world around them was expanding so rapidly. Not that it really matters though, because they were turned into creepy zombies that shout at you when you try to enter their house anyway. I implemented my first jump scare here and I thought it fits really nicely, so I plan on adding more jump scare like moments all over the map. Last week I completed the bridge puzzle and made a quick satirical video about it. The puzzle is pretty simple. You shoot this hook on this crane, but only with a rocket launcher, and you'll be able to cross the bridge and get to a research facility. My brain is filled with ideas about how to make this research facility more interesting and scary, but for now I just want to get the map expanded out further and see if I like the way the exploration feels. Once I was done with the initial idea for the research facility, I realized that actually my little world makes no sense. Like, there is just this town in the middle of a large body of water. It's like on an island, I guess, but I needed to make it make more sense. Like, how did people arrive at this island in the first place? So I added this motorway tunnel that burrows into the mountain. This would be the initial entry point into the town. To further fit the narrative of the world, I made a little military camp here. The idea being that when shit started to go down at the research facility and zombos started to spawn all over the place, the military blew up the tunnel so the zombies couldn't infect the rest of the world. I think the military camp will be a nice way for me to add more modern weapons in the future, but for now I think the area makes sense. The last thing I wanted to do before calling it a week was work on some finer map details and lighting. I started to add more detail to the central area. I tried to put myself in the world I'm creating and imagine people camping out all over the place as the world fell apart around them. I also went out and got some references from games I love for ideas, and the general seemed to focus heavily on nature taking back its world as people could no longer build their things on top of it. So I leaned on that a bit and added more broken roads and grass patches growing where you wouldn't usually find them. In terms of lighting, I really need to get a good grasp on how the lighting in Unity works and how to bring all the visuals together so that it looks cohesive and pretty enough to catch people's attention. The details in this regard are pretty boring, but I followed a good bunch of tutorials and read a lot of documentation, but I finally come up with what I think looks like a pretty decent setup. Sure, it could use some detail work, but we'll get there in time. So let me know what you think of the way the world looks right now. I won't be able to make a devlog next week because I'll be away on holiday, but we'll be back a week later, so I'll catch you guys then.